Soul Simmers, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're actually doing a brand new episode of the Pack Legacy. I know it's a little bit different than what you might be used to, but I know it's also not the first time that we've done a speed build as part of the Pack Legacy series. So we're actually building a brand new house. I've done this a couple of times before where I've actually uploaded like the new house for the new generation, or basically in this case it's not really the new gen because we've been playing with Yule's storyline for a while, but this is the first time that he's like actually properly moving out to his own first place, because the apartment in the city, let's be real, that was a little bit of a dump to live in. So I think it is finally time for him to give him some justice and give him a really nice place to live. So that's what we're working on today. It is a little speed build. I'm going to do a voiceover. I'm not really sure if I'm going to voice over the entire build. I'm just going to walk you through basically the thought process, what kind of vision I had, kind of like how I anticipate them to live here, what my vision was for the build, all of these things. And then if that lasts the entire video, then you just get to enjoy my yapping. But if it's actually a bit shorter, I'll just make sure to add some nice music towards the end so you can just vibe with the speed build, maybe build a little bit yourself in The Sims. I always love to watch speed builds when I see other people build, so, or like when I'm building myself, so it's like kind of a nice combination. So that's kind of the idea for today's video, but let me actually walk you through what you're seeing right now. So I had the vision of making a little apartment building, and I think the emphasis is on a little and apartment building. And I know that sounds a little bit weird as a combination in one sentence, but I wanted to prevent building like a huge apartment building that you would see in cities like San Myshuno. One where you could imagine that is like maybe up to 8, 10, 12, 20 floors of apartments of just people kind of living stacked on top of each other. I was kind of more thinking like the apartments in Evergreen Harbor, where it is maybe like 4 units together in a little building. It's still an apartment building, it's just not as massive as in a big city. And in the end, I actually ended up just having basically one really big apartment, almost kind of like the loft from New Girl. That's kind of what I had when I was building this. That's kind of like what came to mind constantly, is like kind of the loft from New Girl, or like a friend's apartment where they basically have the entire floor or building to themselves, but from the outside it looks like a city apartment. So that's kind of the vision that I had when I wanted to build this. I already said Evergreen Harbor because they have smaller apartments. That is actually the world that I ended up building in as well, so you can see it in the background here. I think this world fits perfectly with the style of apartment, and also I think the world just generally fits into the storyline. I also feel like it really fit when I started to Google smaller apartment buildings. Usually those have like kind of the wood paneling that you can see here, the more modern industrial vibes. So altogether, I just kind of felt like this was the perfect place to build. And I went to this lot, which is kind of like a waterfront lot, I would say, because I think it makes sense if you have an apartment building that it would be on the side of the street like this. So I really liked it. I think this is a great place for the apartment. The only downside is that technically the lot is reversed. So the entry of the lot is on the other end, so not next to the road, which did feel a little bit awkward. And also when you're playing in it, you're gonna see that Sims arrive on like the back of the lot. I do end up, I believe, swapping the lot for like the screenshots for pictures and stuff. I don't know why this lot is reversed. I wish, this is like one of my biggest wishes for The Sims, I wish we could change the lot orientation, because this is not the first lot in this game where I'm like, you know what, I think it should be the other way around, but it is fine. This is probably something that I'll get annoyed with like the first time playing there, and then I'll forget about it and I'm gonna be really happy with this place. So that's basically all about the inspiration for the build and the place that we built it. So let me actually walk you through what you see me build right now in terms of like floor plan and what I add around the build. So there was one very important thing for me, and is that I wanted to have the build like fit into the entire world, but also have the build fit like it made sense that it was an apartment building and it was not just a lot that looked like there was supposed to be a house there and I placed an apartment building. So I tried to really like make the surroundings, or like kind of make the area around this build fit with what you would see next to an apartment building. So I added like a little bicycle rack, I added like some mailboxes outside, I added some benches and some trash bins. And I even end up adding a whole basketball field to the side, which I think was like the perfect detail to kind of blend it into the world as if that apartment building was supposed to be there. And that's also going to be so incredibly nice for gameplay, because that means that we just have a basketball field accessible right next to our home, meaning that we can go out with the boys at night, just kind of play basketball, hang out, do some sports, which I think, again, really fits with the storyline of Yuki and Yule and Plum Bobby moving in together. Then on the inside, there is actually on the ground floor, we have a hallway, which actually ends up being a huge hallway, which kind of feels like wasted space. And after some thoughtful consideration and also maybe some storyline shenanigans in the Not So Berry challenge on my Twitch stream, I might have to readjust this hallway space to be a little less big to fit potentially another bedroom. I'm not really sure yet how we're gonna approach that part, so that will probably happen in gameplay. And if you want to see what happens with that, make sure to follow along on the Pack Legacy or the Not So Berry on my Twitch. I'm gonna try to keep the build at least a little bit updated in between the two saves, but as I've said before, playing in two different save files but still having like the story as a crossover is a bit of a challenge, but I'm trying to make it work. But yeah, for now at least, if you download this build off of the gallery, it has a huge hallway downstairs, which is actually quite a nice entry space. There's like a little wardrobe or closet situation. We have some shoes sitting on the side. We have like a little place where you can sit to put on your shoes. You know, everything that you would expect in a hallway space. However, that's not the only thing on the ground floor. That's just only like the left part of the ground floor. On the right part of the ground floor, I actually ended up adding a full cafe, or kind of like a bar situation, because I love the idea that the ground floor of this build wasn't all part of the apartment, because then obviously this build would very quickly become super large, and I think that wouldn't have been realistic as an apartment space. So I wanted to use it as kind of like a fake community lot. So the idea is that there is now a nice cafe downstairs. I've set it up as a rental, so that space is just like a shared space where they can hang out. At first, I figured it would be really nice to just use that for maybe like parties or get together with friends, because then you don't have to have all the friends like coming over into your house, but you can use that as a space to maybe go on a date and stuff, and kind of have that very big quote unquote open world feel of having like a cafe that is accessible in your house and you can just hang out with your friends there. So that was like the initial thought. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that later, because I actually have a vision for that cafe that we kind of talked about on stream. And there is someone who reached out to me with another really cool idea for the cafe. So I'm going to walk you through my vision for the cafe a little bit later, but I first want to talk you through the rest of the build, so what you're seeing right now feels a little bit more accurate. So when we talk about the floor plan, which I actually struggled with quite a lot, because this build is almost like square, which always makes it really hard to divide into a floor plan that makes sense. And obviously with it being such an open floor plan, I also wanted to make sure that it made sense of like where you came into the build and stuff. So actually on the first floor, you come in with the stairs. You can see me making that now is the kitchen. And I still feel like it is a little bit odd that you come into the kitchen, so I might actually end up swapping the stairs around so that you not walk into the kitchen straight away, but you actually walk into the dining area that's going to be right next to the kitchen, because I think maybe that might make a little bit more sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I think when building this, I mainly wanted to emphasize the fact that you could like have the stairs where you come upstairs, immediately have the next stairs going up as well. But I think maybe I need to let go of that realism part and just allow myself to have the stairs end up in the dining area, because I think that might make a little bit more sense. Then it would also end right next to the bigger doors that lead into the living room off the side. So the first floor is just a huge kitchen, huge dining space, and a living space. I wanted to make sure to keep like the color scheme or the theme of these spaces a little bit more neutral. And with neutral, I mostly ended up going for something that doesn't mean like no color or anything, but mostly just it fits with the outside of the build. So it looks like a little bit industrial. It has like a lot of dark wood, a lot of like blacks and whites, and like the modern feel of it. And I didn't really try to squish in like kind of Yule's color scheme, which I feel like is very blue and white. And also I didn't try to fit in the plum generation from the Not So Berry, which obviously is like extremely purple. So this space is almost like a neutral middle ground, and then their bedrooms are going to be far more personalized. But that's kind of like the idea that I had for the space. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I succeeded, or if you still think it has too much personality, and how you would decorate this space. Like I said before, this build is up on the gallery, so if you're interested, you can actually download this build to play in yourself as well. I did absolutely use a ton of packs So please forgive me for that. If you want to download this, there might be some items that disappear because I absolutely did not watch the packs, but I did make sure to upload this build before I started using CC. I do end up adding like a couple of extra things for specifically for the bedrooms and to make it a bit more personalized, but those were all CC things. So I wanted to make sure to upload the build and like kind of finish the speed build video part before I started adding CCs. So if you're curious about the actual final build, please make sure to watch the Pack Legacy or come visit my Twitch stream to watch the Not So Berry, because I have added a bunch of cute decor and clutter and functional items to this build as CC. But yeah, the version on the gallery will be CC free. Then on the second floor, I've already mentioned there is going to be separate bedrooms. Basically, they're all located on the second floor. So if you take the stairs that are like in the kitchen, you actually go up to the second floor where every of the roommates will have their own bedroom. I have been using the rental lot system. So every bedroom is basically the lot that they're renting. And then the rest of the space is shared space among them three. Or amongst them three. I just made a very weird English grammar mistake. And then basically the idea is that that's where their personality will be strongest. So I'll use a bunch of their colors, a bunch of the stuff that they've had in their previous houses to make that room look very personalized. I think what I'm gonna do is in the Pack Legacy, I'm gonna focus on Yule's room and make that the most personal space. And then on my Twitch stream for the Not So Berry, I'm gonna make like that part the most personal space. Then also I noticed that by moving all of these households in together, there's going to be 3 cats. So I made sure to add a bunch of cat equipment, but I also didn't include that in this video because I end up using a bunch of CC for the cats. So if you want to see that, again, make sure to watch all of the future videos and content for it. But there's going to be 3 cats, so it's going to be a really nice and cozy living space, I think, to hang out with all the cats. Then also, I do expect to play in this house for a good while. Kind of that ties into the cafe downstairs. I know that for Yule's story, he eventually has to open up a bakery, and I think it would be perfect to use that space downstairs for it. So they move into this apartment building, they realize there's a cute cafe downstairs, and eventually Yule ends up buying that cafe to turn it into a grilled cheese shop or a bakery. I'm not really sure. It might be a combination. I'm not sure if we can live from just selling grilled cheese, but it would be kind of fun to try that for the meme. But that's the idea. And someone on Twitter actually reached out to me that they have a mod which allows you to assign a lot trait to a specific rental space to make that kind of like a community lot. I haven't tried out the mod myself. I'm gonna do that though, but I have made sure to link it in the description box down below. So if you've always dreamt of making like apartment buildings with functional community lots at the bottom, then this is the mod that you need to download because it allows you to kind of make that dual lot type thing. Again, I haven't tried it out myself, so I cannot confirm this works perfectly, but I know that a lot of people, when we talk about this on Twitch, want something like this or want a mod like this, so I just made sure to link it down in the description box below so you guys can try it out for yourself. And then, again, like I said, part of the furnishing that you're seeing right now happened in this video, but also part of it happened outside of the video. I end up adding like a laundry space as well at the top floor, or like in between the bedrooms in the hallway, basically, because I thought it would be cute for them to also be able to do laundry. I might regret this decision because laundry is still quite broken in the game, and I've noticed that every single time I add laundry to a household, I end up deleting it later because it frustrates me. But I thought it would be fun for reality's sake that they actually like have to do some chores. I might even give them a vacuum down the line and like turn on the dust system, which again, I haven't done in forever, but small things like this I think are fun to explore in a Pack Legacy challenge like this, because that's kind of the point of the challenge. The only bedroom that I am furnishing in this video, you can see right now, that's going to be Yuki's bedroom. That is also the only bedroom that is going to be identical across both of the challenges that I'm playing. That's just because Yuki is almost like an NPC, I would say. He's kind of living in both of the households just to be there as a friend and as like a character in the story, but I don't think I'm gonna be actively playing with him or like give him a backstory and everything. So he's just there. He has a nice room. I also has the smallest room because I felt like it made sense that the sim that I wasn't gonna actively play with had the smaller room of the 3, and then the other 2 rooms will be furnished on like separate occasions. I've already, at time of recording this voiceover, furnished the Not So Berry Challenge room on my stream. So we're gonna actually play in this house already. And then from next week's episodes of the Pack Legacy on, we'll actually be playing here with the Pack Legacy as well. So you can see the furnishing of Yule's room in that next episode. So please make sure to keep an eye out for that. If you're not subscribed to my channel, this would be a grand time to do so. So you actually don't miss that episode where I'm gonna furnish Yule's room and we're gonna actually play in this house. Also, if you want to download it, my gallery ID is Rosannatxt, just like my name here on YouTube, or basically my name on any of my socials. And if you have any suggestions or fun ideas for what we could do on this lot or how we should play on here, feel free to let me know. And I have in fact almost yapped the entire video, but I'm gonna just let you guys enjoy the last bit of this speed build with some chill music. Don't forget to toss this video a cheeky like on your way out. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone!